What's up, everybody tuning in? Um, I don't know what the f going on. What's up, everybody tuning in? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Today we're gonna talk about me. We're gonna talk about Sapo, and we just gonna chill. My brother trap being like it boss. Steady fighting these demons get off. So I call myself Spavvy, and it's the combination of two words, spiffy and savvy. And the meaning of this name is an appearance of knowledge with good judgment. Yeah. And I came up with it because it looked kind of foreign. And, as far as, like crypto, stocks, if you guys are into that, you guys could, follow me on those apps at Foreign Currency, because that's also my name with those. But yeah, so that's who I am. I'm Spavvy. But it all depends on where you're looking at. Like, what are you looking for? Depends on my name. Now, I may be anonymous, but once I get well known, then you will know me as Spavvy. But for those who know me, they already know my name. So, like, it is what it is. But my new name is Spavvy. So, the next question, what do I do? I'm an artist. An artist who knows a lot of things. With this content creation, I see it as a documentary of the inside of the job of being an artist. But it's not really a job, but it depends on how you look at it. So I grew up as an artist. I was drawing on a carpet. Like, how do you draw on a carpet? How do you draw on cotton? And with me drawing now, I see it as like, dang, like, this was like the evolution of me becoming who I am. But this is just one pit stop of the evolution that I'm creating. And now, here I am. I'm back again. Because I left social media, but then, I had to leave the internet and go in the internet. So I had to switch the mindset of what I was doing then to shift where I'm at now. So now, what I do it more professionally and more mature than what I was doing then. Because then I was playing around, I was doing whatever. But now I'm taking it serious. Well, I was taking it serious, but now it's like what I was doing then is adding to more stuff. Like I was doing, like then I was just drawing, I was just painting. But now me drawing and painting is taking me to other things in the creative field. And it's a long journey, but I look at all aspects of the journey and I see kind of where it's going. And I don't know where I'm going. It's like I'm walking with a blindfold. But at the time. But yeah, like I'm walking with a blindfold. But I'm trusting in the higher source and where it's taking me. But yes, I'm an artist. I create things with my hands, and my hands won't move without my mind thinking what I'm gonna create. And then when I was younger, like I used to struggle. Like I used to be like, what am I gonna make? Like I used to sit up there and like look at other people's art and then like recreate what they made. But that's the only way how you learn is if you look at somebody else's thing. And it's okay to be inspired, but it's not okay to take. You feel me? So like I just had to break out that viewpoint and not that mindset and had to shift to like, man, do your own thing. You ain't gotta be looking. It's okay to be inspired, but you don't have to look and be like, yeah, like this is mine. Like people will look at your work and create it again in the way that they make things and say, yeah, this is mine. And that's why we have the copyrights. And now this really goes in to the next question: why are you on YouTube? So in reality, this is my second YouTube, or I should say my third. Like this is my third YouTube. And when I was younger, I was customizing shoes on my other YouTube. But it's like when you first starting out on YouTube, you don't. It's like you get a hit on the first video you make, and then after the other videos, it's like that bad fall. So it's like it crash or whatever. How the demographics, the analytics, however it goes, and you know me doing it now, I see it as like a script hit. Like you gotta follow these certain guidelines and these scripts in order to make a big hit. And I'm doing my own thing. So I'm really on YouTube to really give like a documentary of the things that I do. Like I'm okay, so last fall I was in school, and before I enrolled in school, like before I selected my classes and stuff, I was so skeptical with what I wanted to do because I wanted to do so many things, and I was like, this is why I can't be in school. Now I did what I had to do, but in the midst of it, I was like something came to mind. I was like, man, film, and I was like, should I do film? And I was like, nah, I should do something else, cause if I would do this, then I'm gonna want to do this, and I'm gonna do that. See, school to me is closed minded. Like you only could do one thing, and then they even shut you down more to make you say, dang, like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can only do this. So I had to do what I had to do, whatever, and I had to just play it smart. But after that, I was like, okay, boom, like I'm a really self-taught person, so I could teach myself film on my own. I'm gonna do this art thing on my own, and I'm gonna just do something else in school that'll benefit both of those things. So that's me collabing all that together. So art and film creates what? Animation. So you see, that's really how I be doing things. Like I put it two and two together. Just like it's two sides in a story makes a big movie, makes a big commotion. You see? And that's why I feel as if I'm back and sticking it on YouTube. Nah, I was on social media. I was on Facebook with it. I was on Instagram with it, Snapchat with it. I was marketing myself. But then I slept off. I had went ice what they call it? Skiing on ice. Like I was skiing in the summertime and I watched that winter weather come in and fell into that pile of snow. So I was hibernating. So now I done shook that snow off, and now I'm here dropping this for you guys. So that's why I'm on YouTube, to express my creativity through how I speak verbally and how I illustrate through my artistic endeavors. So that's just why I'm here on YouTube. The next question is, what can people expect to see? Now, this gonna be a ride. You feel me? Like, it's not gonna be like those roller coasters, but this is gonna be endless and timeless. Because however the videos may catch you, then it catch you at that right time, because that's the divine time that it found you, or that it found you, or you find it. So I expect y'all to see the entire documentary. Now, quoting back to the last question, on my second YouTube channel, I was creating a series. Mind you, I was just starting out, but I was creating a series. And it was for Black History Month. So I was doing certain black people that inspired society and the culture to where we are today. And we're going to dive into that real soon. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to view some of that later. But I expect y'all to see everything, you know. Even if we go to another platform, y'all going to see behind the scenes, bloopers, raw material, everything. We are going to build a foundation. We are going to build an empire through this platform called YouTube. Even if we don't get no views, we can still take these videos and create a movie of the documentary that we want to create. In my opinion, this is just a practice of what we gonna do. This is us getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Can you believe that? How can you be comfortable when you're uncomfortable? Y'all probably like, that don't make no goddamn sense. But hey, this is what we gonna do. And y'all gonna see as y'all tune in. So now we gonna get into the book of Sapo, as I abbreviated Portuguese. So this is the book. So this is the book of Sapo. I created this book because this is a hand object of what I'm creating. So with me creating videos, that is a entertainment of the documentary. But this is the script of the documentary. So this is the book of Sapo. So I came up with this because, like, I'm trying to not break out my style, but I was drawing more of like cartoon things than making like realistic things. So when I was in high school, like, I did a still life, and doing that still life, I was like, this thing look really so cartoonish but realistic at the same time. So kind of like a comic. So now, being where I'm at now, I'm like, okay, like, what if I step into getting in realistic, like, drawings? And I've drawn people. So I got a couple of things right here. of like old things. I think the still life in here. I'm not sure. Yeah, the still life. Okay, so this is the still life I did in high school. So like you see what I'm saying? Like it look cartoon, but like it looks real. So like I'm gonna drop a picture just so y'all can see it like fully. But that's the still life. Um. Okay, so I drew my little sister, but I did a concept of how I wanted to do it. So I'm gonna show y'all how the concept went, and then we gonna go like that. So, okay, so the first one was this one. And shout out to my art teacher Shannon, if she's out there and probably viewing this, because she helped me create this. So this is what I was making. Like this is acrylic with prismas. So I'm gonna also drop a video for this so that y'all can see what's going on. So that's the first one I did. That's like the first portrait I ever did. Like I never drew no portrait. I drew cartoons, but portrait wise, painting wise with acrylics, that's what I did. So now well first before we show that, we gonna show this. So we gonna layer it like that. So boom, this was the concept. So I was like, okay, like boom, like I got the lady watching over her, like she laying in the grass, and I got the angel playing the trumpet. So that's how that was. Then I shifted it to this. So boom, like that Starry Night, you feel me? So the original picture, she was in the grass, but I put her in the sky. I put her on the clouds with the angels watching over her. So this is the one like that I made. So like you see everything. Now the angels and oil pastels, the clouds and oil pastels, but her herself is in acrylics and prisms. So this right here is with acrylic. So now that I done showed y'all that, I'm gonna upload the pictures, or if y'all want to see it, then I'm gonna upload them. But now we're gonna get into this book. So I came up with Sapo because of character and portraits. So that's how Sapo came about. Now on the spine of the book, I have it as portraiture. So Sapo is really the abbreviation of portraiture. So portraits and characters. That's on the spine of the book. So that is the base of the book. So now we're gonna get into it. Okay, so before I started, doing these, I really practiced. So I did the practice with eyes. So these are the eyes that I practiced to get in that motion and that feeling of doing it. I did the ears. So this is me practicing, like, drawing ears. I did the noses. I did all of the facial features. So this is me doing noses, different positions. And then this is me doing the lips. So now we're going to the first page. Now, this is Fred Gray, Claudette Colvin, Ruby Bridges, and Mae Jemison. So with starting out this Black History Month series, I started with the people who are here with us today that made an impact on, the world. So Fred Gray, he was a lawyer. Claudette Colvin, she was an activist. Ruby Bridges, I believe she was an activist. And Mae Jemison was the engineer. So the first one I did was Fred Gray. And then the second, Claudette. Fourth, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that's how I did it. So like with drawing faces, like it's different methods and things like that. But what I was focusing more on was proportions. So I was trying to see how can my proportions go in with creating the face. And this is kind of similar with painting. Like when you're painting, you're placing the color. So you have to look more at color placement. So before you place the colors, you have to look at the proportions of the face so that you can place each color in each shape of the proportion. But this is the first page. And each page was in one day. So I was really doing a whole entire month of, filming. Like trying to, test my skills and create these portraits for this book. And yeah. So the next page, we have the abolitionist. Now with all these pages, I've recorded like time lapse with them. And I created an entire movie of these. But because of me doing, like, I had music in my thing. And the last episode was 3, but I had episode 4 and 5 prepared. No, 4, 5, 6. I had 4, 5, 6 prepared. But then when I seen that YouTube blocked my video from being publicly viewed, I was like, dang, like, so I'm just gonna start a new account because I already effed up this account. Like all I had to see was one time of them doing that, and I was like, all right, F it. So I made this account, and now with me doing this account, like I'm gonna rather discuss than show, how it was constructed. So first we have Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, James Forten, and Frederick Douglass. So all 4 of these people were abolitionists, and that's why I labeled it as abolitionist. Now, with Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, they were more kind of like the ones who had bandages on them. So I had to focus on the proportions but fill in from the details of the clothing that they were wearing. And then with James Forten and Frederick Douglass, it was similar but within the collar of the neck. So some of them look like they have long necks, small head, but I really see the pictures. Like this was the second day of the series. And doing these, I really seen that the way I was doing it, like in my own way, and that I understood that it didn't have to be the same as the product, because I was focusing more on getting the concept of how to do it than trying so hard the first time. But one thing about me is that, like, I've noticed that regarding all my creativity is that I have a heavy hand. Like, if you look at the back of the page, like you will see the braille of what I drew, and it's like, dang, like is the way I'm drawing these things is how hard I am on myself, because like when I come up with these things, I feel like I think so hard. Like it's a deeper meaning with everything. And with me creating these was like me doing the Black History Month series was me testing the waters to see how the actual series is. Now the actual series is going on, but I'm doing it in another way. So I'll do the whole series, and then when the first part of it is over, then we'll discuss it together. So that's kind of how I'm gonna do it. But then certain videos that I'll post, I'm gonna do it with you guys. So now we have the Physicans. So we have James McCune Smith, Rebecca Lee Crumpler, Nathan Francis Mossel, George Cleveland Hall. So all four of these are Physicans. Now, when I did Rebecca Lee Crumpler, after doing this, I found out that she was someone else. But how the internet is, they have different people under different, like under certain names. And majority of the pictures refer back to her, but then I realized that it wasn't her, it was someone else, because this person right here is someone else. But other than that, this is where I really seen it coming together with the first one, James McCune. And because of his shape, like his head matched like his body. But I feel as if all of them does the same, like with Rebecca, like you see a rectangle. So you see the rectangle, boom, like you see it. Now here you see like something like that. Here you see a rectangle. And I was doing the methods, like the Loomis method, the other methods. I'm not sure what they are, but I know you guys probably know. But I was mixing all of those methods and putting it into one to try to make these, and that's how it went with those. So then I have William Augustus Hinton and Daniel Hall Williams. So with these, I decided to go the ink way. Now, being that these were big, I was like, okay, if I add the ink, I could probably fix my mistakes that I thought were mistakes in my head to try to make them more appealing to my eye. Because sometimes if I, like really when I be drawing, I be like, dang, like this don't look like the thing. So I'm gonna be like, should I really like continue it or like whatever? But when I did the inking, I was like, yeah, like this is it. So it's like if I color the shades or the shape of the image and then go back over it, then I'll be like, yeah, like that's just what I did like here. So then we have the lawyers right here. So while doing these, I categorized each of the subjects that I was doing so that I could put it together in one film for the amount of videos to be in the series. So with doing these, I had went from 4 then to 2, and then I went up and down in like a analytic scale. So this is the lawyers, Robert Senstaki Abad and Eunice Carter. Now both of these are lawyers. So with me seeing the product of the inking, I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I should keep on doing. So I came up with these. So with doing Eunice, I took the concept that I did with Ruby Bridges, because when I did Ruby Bridges hair, I was like, dang, like I did that curly hair. And back in this age and time, like people was rocking slick backs. They was doing like, I don't know if they was using Eco Gel then, but or that Niobe, but they had it going on with the hairstyles. Like people ain't rocking these no more like that unless they get in the wig. But these are the lawyers, and constructing these was like, dang, like it's getting better, it's getting better. Like this is how we're gonna do it. So now these are the inventors. So we have Garrett Morgan and Frederick McKinley Jones. Now, Garrett Morgan to me looked at like Frankenstein, but because of how his head is built and how broad like his shoulders are, and I feel like the shades of it really makes it look like that because how it looks and how his hair is. Now Frederick on the other side, I feel like his head is too much down. So really, when I started using the ink, I started seeing it as kind of in the style of Picasso, but because of how distorted their faces and their bodies were conjoined with their head. So now, this is where I was bringing it all together, and I was compacting my images and making collages. So all of these are activists. So we have Bayard Rustin, Amelia Boynton Robinson, Sadie Tanner, Marcus Garvey, Dorothy Height, Ella Baker. You know, all of these were just created. Now with these, I drew lightly, and then once I did the inking, I had erased the linings. So with these, I didn't shade, but because I wanted to look at it plain white before coloring. Now, if you guys are interested, you know, I could ink all of them and color inside of them. Maybe with acrylics, markers, Prismas, you know, whatever. Just leave a comment below and then we'll do it. So then next, I said, okay, now that the inking of tracing is down packed, now let's go back to where we began. And I really grew stronger with building just sketches. So I was trying, like while doing these, I was trying to draw lightly instead of hard. So I was doing it lightly, more lightly, so that I could be able to draw the actual piece onto the paper. Now, with all of these, I was using HB, H, and the B pencils, graphite. So once we flip through the pages, you will see that they'll start getting darker. So I use H, B, and a 6B. If not 6B, then 4B. Or I probably did use all of them. But this is Ethel L. Payne, and this is Daisy Bates. Now, I didn't focus too much on the clothing because the clothing, you know, that's even, well, it's not even more detailed, but it was just, I was looking at the proportion of the clothing, but focusing more on the facial features and structure of the face than on the clothing. And with the hair, like I gradually got up into it after doing Ruby Bridges, and it just came out even more once I saw the pictures into it. So then here, I think this is Activist Part 2, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I didn't write their names, but this is another collage. And no, it's Activist I'm not sure. I believe that it's activists. If it's not only activists, then I know it's activists and abolitionists. So doing these, I was trying to go big because I was seeing that I was more into the smaller. Like I was trying to put details into small things, and so I zoomed. I'll say in, since small is zoomed out. So I zoomed in to make it more bigger, and then construct more of what it is. Now, him in the middle, his head is long. His head is long, but his face, like I see it more like going into that direction, that diagonal look. But with his head being long and wide, it's like you don't know which way he's looking. So it's like his facial features are floating off his face. So then now we have Booker T. Washington and Mary McLeod Bethune. So with doing these, I started doing cross hatching instead of shading it in. And here you can see where the mix of the graphite comes in. So now we have. Now with the eyes, I was struggling, and not only just him, but with him the most, you could see the eyes like, like break a Kit Kat, like kind of, and some one eye bigger than the other. Like majority of them came out to be like lazy eyes, but this is Booker T and Mary. So now we're going into. I'm not sure which one these are, but this is Langston Hughes, Charles R. Drew, and George Washington Carver. I think these are the educators and the engineers. Like doing these, I literally made an entire schedule. But I don't have the schedule with me. I'm really just doing like a recap of what I've already did and a preview of what's coming up. So with doing these, I did it as a trio diagonal. So with doing these, like you can still see the different graphites and how I traced over them. So instead of using pen, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay in the graphite, and I'm just gonna use darker tones to trace over the lighter shades that I've created. And I like all of them because they're starting to look more realistic, but it's just me lifting up the features and giving the features space instead of collaging them together. And then this is the last one. So this is Malcolm X. Dang. How did I forget this lady? This is Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and Martin Luther King. So this was me putting them together as a monument. And doing this was like, okay, like who's in front of who? Who's beside who? So I had to put together them, but I had to form it together to make it come together. And I was going to do it with ink, but then because of how it came out in pencil, I was like, this is better than the ink because the ink is bold, and I feel as if the ink is bold, then it won't look flat as it was constructed. So with doing these was the final wrap up of the Black History Month's collab. So I wish you guys could have seen it, but I played, like, I messed up. Like, the last video, the third episode was so hard that you would have thought it was on Netflix, like, for real. Because of how the music was going in and playing with it, like, it was an entire film. Like, this right here was just 1 month of a documentary. So now that we're in a new month, a new season, now we're stepping into the actual reality of this documentary. Now, this was just the test run. The Black History Month series was a test run. So now we're going into a new collection that I am creating. And these are on my shorts if you guys haven't watched it. But maybe if you catch this video, then you'll probably catch these shorts. So this is Shawty Lo and Pipe Dog. So Shawty Lo died in March 26th. No, March 22nd. Pipe Dog's birthday was on the 22nd. So with me shifting from winter to spring, I started adding colors that started to change from that old history. Like, you see the shift. Back then with film, it was only B&W. Now we have that whole color. So now it's from the grayscale to the, the color schemes. So we can see that with Shawty Lo, he got that gold and gray, and then it moved from him to Pipe Dog with red and pink. So being that Shawty Lo died on the 22nd, Pipe Dog was born on the 22nd. So we see the rebirth of creation with making these two people right here. So then next we have Eazy-E. Now, I believe he died on the 26th. He died on the 26th. Whenever I posted the video, that's when he died. So if you guys go check out those videos, then you'll be able to know the exact date. But doing this, that blue, green, and red. Now, if y'all know those Vans, the yacht clubs, this is kind of the inspiration of doing this. Now, I'm not sure how, but I was skeptical with doing this one. I don't know why, but I'm kind of skeptical with doing majority of like my pieces, because I want them to look a certain way, but it's like I don't trust my creative skills because of me wanting it to look like the actual thing. But I have to understand the process of me getting to that point and trusting my creative abilities and how I create the things, because maybe how I create is the style of how I make things. So this is Eazy-E. This is probably one of the most important, most viewed image of him, and creating it in this way is just amazing. Like, when I did this, I was like, dang, like, even if it don't look good, it's the colors that bring it out. Like, the blue was the dominant color, so I outlined it with blue, but I had the green as the shades and the red as the highlight. And that's how it came to be with this. So next, we have Hypo. So I believe his was on the 28th. And doing this was like, dang, like, this shifted from Shawty Low when he had that gold, but this is like that yellow and that brown that makes that gold with that silver. If you mix it all together, like this is that. So this is like the remembrance. So with doing him, like it was more of like just like I was going more with the color in style than just outlining the shapes and putting together the formation. So this is me expanding in how I build my portraits and my creative thoughts to make something come alive. Because if we go back to it being like, let's look at cartoons. Okay, cartoons, being that they were in grayscales, you will only see black and white, so you will only see the line work. But when you add in that high def colorization, then you will see the actual shades, the actual highlights. You won't see nothing flat. You will see the density and the atmosphere of the object and how the object is formed and placed into the lighting and the darkness of the image. And that's how this came to be, because it's like you see the sun beaming on him. You probably see him as the sun. However you view hypo, you see it as some sort of energy because of the colorization of his formation. And that's really how I took this within this piece. So the last piece is Freaky Ta. So you probably know him with hands, but I did him without the hands. And I like how it came out, because it's like it shifted from the bright lights to the highlights in the dark. Like, how can you go shifting from the highlights to into the dark? And this explains how it goes. Now you see the light really coming in from right there, but then you see little pieces of specks of light hitting certain dark spots. And this is how the tunnel vision begins, because you walking in the darkness, but as you keep on walking, you start seeing that light. And you start seeing that light, and it becomes so bright that you become entangled and wrapped in it. And this is how I really started this book, because while creating this entire thing, I really became, amazed by how fascinating it became. And with doing this, it's just so mind-blowing, because I fell off. Like, I wasn't doing portraits or like drawing that much as how I'm doing now. And it was for a reason. But even now, it's still for a reason. Everything has a reason. And with me creating this book, it's an amazing journey. And if you guys have anything that you want to do, don't stop. Keep going, even if you don't even feel like doing it. Because doing that last one, I didn't even want to do it. Because I was looking for a specific picture, But then me looking for a specific picture made me feel like, man, I don't even want to do this. Like, I'm gonna skip this. I'm not gonna make the video. I'm not gonna do nothing. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna just do it. See how it come out. Like, so I did it. And I did it, and it came out darn good. So this is why you have to step out of your comfort zone. You cannot be stuck, because when you go in that cocoon and you come out that cocoon, you need to be doing the things that are differently from what you was doing before you went in that cocoon. See, before you was in that cocoon, you was crawling, you was walking. But then when you left out of that cocoon, you was flying, you was soaring. So you wasn't doing the same things you was doing when you was in that cocoon. So this is the change. This is the evolution of how I am building this empire, building this platform. And for those of you guys who found this video, or it found you, and you guys watched until the end, till right now, thank you guys for that support. Thank you guys for the views. Thank you guys for the likes. Thank you guys for even just being glued into what we finna start doing. So if you want to jump on this train, if you want to jump on this plane, hit that subscribe button. Share it, just so we can start building this clan, so we can start trooping up. This is our community that we are creating. And it's starting right here with me. Because just like I'm doing it, you can do it. Don't let nothing or nobody stop you. You keep going. Because nobody not going to see what it is that you see. Now, they might see what it is that you putting out, but they not seeing what you see. Because what? We have our own eyes so that we can see. Don't that make sense? Sometimes I used to always think like, okay, I'm looking at you, but how are you looking at me? But that's like me trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes. So that goes with emotional intelligence. So we got to go by things a certain way. Now, I may come off as harsh. I'm still trying to learn myself. Y'all gonna be able to see me. But this is how judgment occurs. Now, thou shalt not judge. Because if thou judge, then thou judge thyself. And this goes back to Black history. Because the civil rights movement. And with movement, how are you be able to tell if something moved? Because you judging and observing the movement. That's how you did that. Like, you know, they say how you did that. That's how you did that. With me creating this book, that's how I did that. But thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to wrap it up right here. And I will see you guys next time. It's Spazzy Talks. How you did that? That look like a brand new booty. How you did that? You got 5,000 how you did that? You